Right, I'm ready to continue talking about the Mission Impossible franchise. I've seen the third one now, J.J. Abrams' installment, and I'd like to talk about it. Now, following the supremely goofy, silly, over the top, too cool for its own good Mission Impossible 2, the third one tries really hard to do a major course correct by grounding Ethan Hunt, his Tom Cruise's character, in reality, making him a much more believable character, exploring real life things like relationships, and not so much the super awesome cool stuff that Mission Impossible 2 was solely focused on, for better or worse. Now, despite Ethan Hunt being just head over heels, madly in love with the romantic interest from the second movie, she's completely gone from this one, not even mentioned once. All of a sudden, we're here in the third one, and he's about to get married to a girl who, of course, he's madly in love with. The difference is this time you actually buy it. They dedicate a lot more time to building the connection between them, making the audience believe that they love each other. So when the plot, at the times it's driven, which is mostly the whole time, is driven by their relationship, you actually buy it. It's not annoying. You're not scratching your head saying, "Why is this in it?" like I was doing throughout the entire second one. It's a lot more believable, and it works to the movie's benefit most of the time. I thought this was a very exciting Mission Impossible movie, much more so than the second one. That was just so superficial. The stunts were just there to be cool. There was nothing really behind it, driving it, that made you kind of on edge to see what happened. This one, I think, because it focuses a lot on relationships, and not just he and his wife, but he and his team. Um, it's driven a lot more by that. The plot is, and it makes for really a lot more exciting of a story. That being said, the action scenes aren't as extravagant. I don't know, as not as big, overblown as they were in the first two. There seems to be less of a focus on those. Although when they happen, it's cool. But thinking back on the third one, after just seeing it, none of the big action moments really stick out to me. Not super memorable. I definitely think the biggest plus for the film is its characters. Tom Cruise, of course, plays Ethan Hunt brilliantly again, and I think Tom Cruise really shows off a better range in this one than either of the first two movies. He really hits some emotional heights that you don't see him hit too often, and he does so really well. Additionally, they have Philip Seymour Hoffman playing the villain. He's fantastic. I thought he just wasn't in it all that much. Not as much as I would like to see him. He was great the moments he had on screen, but he just kind of disappeared for a good middle chunk of it. But he was great. I thought Lawrence Fishburne played a great boss to Ethan Hunt. That kind of no nonsense, overly critical, in your face boss to Ethan Hunt. I thought he played it really well. It was really entertaining. Billy Crudup, he's a slime ball. Sorry, maybe not in real life, but he plays slime balls really well, and this one is no exception. It did seem to me like maybe there's like a 3-hour director's cut of this somewhere. There are a couple moments that just felt really cut down, and like it was missing a whole sequence. Firstly, when Ethan Hunt gets the call from the villain of the film saying, "I have your wife. You have 48 hours to get me this thing, the rabbit's foot, the MacGuffin for this movie. Give me this thing in 48 hours or she's dead." And then literally 5 minutes later, Ethan Hunt's in Shanghai, and he's with his team, and he's like, "All right, we only got 2 hours to like kill my wife." And like you cut out 2 days of film. It feels like that traditionally would have been like the big action, like the adventure part of the film. Like that should have been the whole middle chunk, is him trying to get where he needs to get his crew together, to get the setup, the planning stage of the missions that are all really cool in these movies. And then when they start the mission, he does this really cool stunt where he kind of swings off of a skyscraper onto the skyscraper he needs to get to. It's tense, nail-biting stuff. And then he goes in the building, and they cut a minute later, and then they're like, all right, where is he? And then he just jumps out a window, and he has the thing. We don't see how he got it, how he got through the security, how he acquired it and made it out. It just cuts all of this stuff out, and it feels like there's like a giant spy epic out there somewhere for this film, but those giant chunks are just cut out. So that was a little disappointing. It didn't really affect the overall pacing and the suspense. It just kind of felt like a little brake check in the middle of the plot. Not a huge deal, but it's just something I noticed. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it quite a bit, a whole lot more than the second one. I thought it just went a little bit too far in the other direction from the ridiculous second one. I think this one was just like a step away from just being like a family drama and not a spy action thriller. But like I said, the family element, the relationship stuff really drove the plot pretty well. I just thought the action was also kind of cut down to make room for the family stuff. It worked pretty well. I still like the first one the most, and the second one the least. But I know this is a pretty good one. Definitely a better direction to go than the second one. I'd give it like an 87%. Not quite an A, but liked it a lot. So, it looks like Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is the next one up. So I will talk to you then. Bye.